which is also kind of why I'm making this video, because I totally could have treated my TMJ 100% on my own without spending that much money, without even going to the doctor. Hi, and welcome back to Veggies by EOS. I just made my bed and little Miss Kaya decided to mess it up. But anyway, today is an important video. If you're a normal viewer of mine, you might not want to watch it unless you have TMJ. What I hope to do with this video is reach some new people and just reach some people that think they might have TMJ and aren't sure, or maybe people that don't have insurance and really don't want to pay to go see a doctor in order to confirm if they do or don't have TMJ. Because this is the thing. If I knew what I knew now a year ago, I could have completely self-diagnosed myself and not had to pay any money. My insurance kind of sucks. And actually, the thing is, a lot of insurances don't cover TMJ treatment to begin with. So even if you have a decent insurance, I'm not sure if your insurance will cover TMJ treatment. So just FYI. So I will preface this by saying, if your insurance will fully cover everything, please go see a doctor. But if you're the type of person where you're like, my insurance isn't gonna cover it, or if you don't have insurance, or if you have crappy insurance, and you would like a way to be able to self-diagnose and kind of treat it yourself, it is entirely possible. So if you fall into that category, keep watching this video and I hope I can help you. But I do wanna say I'm not a doctor in any way, shape, or form. So and the levels of severity of TMJ can range. So this is more for people who don't have it that bad. If your TMJ is terrible, awful, maybe try what I am suggesting, and if what I say doesn't work, then go see a doctor. But I personally think what I'm going to talk about in this video will help most people in most cases. Again, no guarantee, I'm not a doctor. If you aren't comfortable with watching videos on YouTube as to how to treat something, then please just go see your doctor. But I am here for all of you wanting to save some money and try to self-diagnose TMJ. And I got the idea to do this video because my friend Riley messaged me basically saying, I think I might have TMJ, I don't want to self-diagnose myself, but what's it like? What does it feel like? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait, hold up. Honestly, if I were you, I would self-diagnose. I actually don't know if he ended up seeing a doctor or not yet, but I think TMJ is something that is very easy to self-diagnose and very easy and cheap to self-treat. So I'll talk about diagnosing first, and then I'll talk about treating second. So basically the only thing, also something you're probably wondering, what kind of doctor do I even go to if I think I have TMJ? You apparently just go to a dentist. I'm not sure if necessarily all dentists do this, but to my knowledge, most and or all dentists do or are able to check for TMJ. All they do is they feel some kind of muscle at the back, kind of by the joint near your jaw. And basically they just feel it, and if it hurts for them to do that, then that means you have TMJ. It's something like that. Do I know exactly where this muscle is that I'm talking about is? No. I'm trying to do it myself. No, I have no idea how to do that. So if you want that done, go to a dentist. The dentist I went to charged between $70 and $80 just for that, so just an FYI. But in my opinion, it's pretty obvious when you have TMJ, and if you think you have TMJ, you probably do have TMJ. It's not something oh, my jaw's kind of sore today, and then it's never sore again. It's if you think you have it, you know it. With my friend Riley, when he was just telling me how he thought he had it, it's if you think you have it, you probably do have it. And I'm not going to go super into depth with this because you can read stuff online about what are symptoms and what it feels like and such. I would just say in general, if your jaw, and here's another thing, it's kind of hard to describe honestly, but if your jaw just feels overused, there's a loud car going by, never ending. I really hope you can't hear the background noise because, also if you can't tell, I moved. This actually kind of looks like my old setup because I had my bed in this corner of my room and Kaya's bed was down there, her stairs are here, and honestly my walls are the same color as my last room too. But anyway, over there is a busy street and I'm hearing a lot of background noise, so I hope you can't. Comment below if you can or can't, because I really hope that doesn't become a problem with filming here. Anyway, going back to overusing your jaw, that's the best way I can describe it. The jaw just feels overused, or because it's a muscle. If I do a bunch of bicep workouts, my biceps are gonna be sore for a day or two. And the difference with this is that it's not just sore for like a day or two, it kind of is constant, and there are ways that you can reduce the soreness, which I'll kind of get into. But what happened with me personally when I first triggered my TMJ, because another thing, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, I'm not a doctor, but to my knowledge, I believe that you are born with it, but you don't necessarily have it until something triggers it. So like my sister, hers got triggered when she fell off her bike and actually fell on her jaw and hit her jaw, and then that triggered her TMJ. She's had TMJ problems ever since. For me personally, it was last summer. It was from playing saxophone, which is weird because I played so much saxophone in undergrad. I don't know why it wasn't triggered in undergrad. I genuinely have no clue. But last summer I practiced about 2 hours a day, and then I went almost a week without touching either of my horns because my roommate had taken them to get work done in Dallas. It was either 5 or 7 days. It was almost a week. She came back, and I think I just like hit the ground running and started practicing 3 hours a day every day after that week off, and that's what triggered my TMJ. And the first few days I was like, oh, my jaw's just kind of sore because like I've been practicing a lot, but then it like didn't go away, and I was like, I don't think this is normal, you know, because with your bicep or whatever, you know, it'll hurt for a couple days and it kind of goes away. And to be fair, I guess if you like just keep doing bicep workouts every single day, I guess the soreness, I don't know, I've never like tried doing just biceps every single day, but that's why like when you work out, you don't just do your arms or just do your legs. Like one day you do cardio, the next day you do arms, the next day you do shoulders and abs, and the next day you do legs. Like that's why it's good, like if you're the type of person that works out, you probably know that, like to do that with your body, rotate through all the muscles. But when you're doing something like practicing a saxophone, you're constantly using your jaw, so you can't rotate through different muscles. You're always only using this muscle. So that's how it gets overused. So I would say those are the most common ways to like trigger TMJ. Well, it's from either overusing your jaw or like my sister, how she just fell and hit her jaw really hard. So either an accident like my sister had, or overusing your jaw, such as playing a musical instrument. I honestly can't think of another way you would overuse your jaw. Yeah, I really don't know. So if you don't play an instrument, I'm actually not sure how you would trigger it unless you were in an accident. But anyway, so that is one big thing to keep in mind. Did something happen recently where you triggered your jaw? Because if the answer is no, then it might not be TMJ. I would consider other things. But if it is something concrete, like yes, I was in an accident, or yes, I started going from not practicing to practicing 3 hours a day, or anything else that would overuse your jaw. I still can't think of what else you would overuse your jaw for. But like, you know your body, if you have been doing something that has been overusing your jaw and you went from like 0 to 60 like overnight, then yes, that could very easily trigger TMJ. Another thing that is a sign that it could be TMJ is difficulty eating, like in terms of chewing your food. Like before I developed TMJ, I really never thought about eating. And now when I eat, it's kind of difficult. Chewing my food is kind of difficult. I also can't open my mouth very wide at all. So like the thought of eating a hamburger that's like this tall or something like that, that sounds extremely difficult and kind of painful to me, whereas maybe a normal person, that wouldn't be a problem. So if you've also noticed the way you eat changing, like you're not able to open your mouth as well, or just chewing is just different now, and I can't really explain it, but it's maybe uncomfortable is a better, it's not painful to eat, but like it's not as comfortable to eat as it used to be for me, if that makes sense. So just in general, if you've noticed a change in eating, that is another factor. Another factor is just kind of throughout the day you feel very clenched, or like your jaw just feels clenched, and you kind of have to like relax yourself. Clenching is apparently pretty common to happen overnight, and obviously you're not really gonna know if you're clenching overnight or not. So that's another part to TMJ, but even throughout the day, like I still notice myself clenching, not super bad, but definitely like you kind of just have to think and go like, okay, I have to drop my jaw, I have to stop clenching. Even if I'm clenching just a little bit, just knowing to relax your jaw. So if you find that like throughout the day, you're kind of constantly clenched and you're able to just like relax your jaw and you can kind of feel that relaxation, I think that's another factor. But yeah, I think that's about everything, at least in my experience of having TMJ. If everything that I just said to you sounds like you have it, you probably have it. Again, I'm not a doctor, but if you could relate to most of the things I just said, then you genuinely probably do have TMJ. I believe it's hereditary. My uncle said that it's not, but I mean, my mom has it and me and my sister have it. I feel like that's a little too big of a coincidence for it not to be hereditary, and like some online articles say it is, so I have no clue if it's hereditary, but it might be. So that's another thing, I guess. If one of your parents have TMJ and you think you might have it, and everything I just said sounds like you have it, then yeah, you probably have TMJ. So that is everything I have to say about diagnosing yourself with TMJ. If you're still not sure, go ahead, by all means go to a doctor. But if you're pretty sure you have TMJ, now I'm going to talk about the treatment. So what can you do to help your TMJ? Which I do want to just start off with saying that TMJ does not and cannot go away. You will have it for the rest of your life, but there are things you can do to reduce the pain and just make things easier. And I will say there is a medication you can take. You would have to go to a doctor for this. Actually, I feel like just Advil and stuff would help as well, but there's a specific medication you can get from your dentist for it. My dentist offered it to me. He basically said that it just helps with the pain. Like, it's not going to actually help with your TMJ at all. It just helps with the pain. And I was like, I don't think I need that. Like, I don't think that's necessary. I know one of my friends got the pain meds and I guess did fine with them, but for me personally, I do not think they're necessary. If you want pain meds and if your pain is like so bad to the point where it's like just uncontrollable and like you can't even fall asleep and stuff, then yeah, you might want to go get pain meds. But as long as okay, I really hope you can't hear that background noise. Like, the cars are extremely loud right now. But yeah, if your pain's super, super bad, then you might want to go get it checked out, get some pain meds from a dentist. But in my opinion, numbing the pain with medication while it's still like there just isn't a good idea. I didn't really want to do that to my body. That's my opinion on the medication. Now, the other thing the dentist is going to recommend, because they're going to recommend the pain meds if you want it, but then the main thing they're going to recommend is getting a mouth guard that they make for you that costs $500. And I have a whole video on this. I had a very, very bad experience with my dentist, and you know, most of you watching, if you do choose to go to the dentist, probably are not going to have a bad experience like I did. But I'll link that video below. It just talks about my whole bad experience with the dentist, which is also kind of why I'm making this video, because I totally could have treated my TMJ 100% on my own without spending that much money, without even going to the doctor. So if you do go to the dentist and they recommend you buy one of their fancy $500 mouth guards, say no and try the one from CVS first. You know, it's possible that you try the one from CVS and it doesn't work out. In that case, then go ahead and try the expensive one. But actually, from talking to one of my friends, he said that from his research, most TMJ patients do better with the ones from CVS or do about the same. So it's like, if it's gonna be either better or about the same and you're saving like $450, you might as well just go with the CVS one. I can show you what mine looks like. Kaya's really passed out. So it comes in this little handy box and then just a little mouth guard. And what this does, I can't really explain much about it. It just helps you stop like grinding your teeth and the clenching. I don't necessarily know, like, I feel like you're still clenching but not as much because this is like kind of like padded in a way. I'm gonna stop talking about this because I can't explain how this works, but I do have one of my friends that has TMJ said once she got this, all of her problems were solved. Like, she didn't have to do anything else. Like, this 110% fixed her problem, and like, that was that. I actually forgot. I don't know if she has a CVS one or one from the dentist, but regardless, hers like 110% fixed her problems. So this, you might be like her. You might buy one of these, start wearing it every night, and your TMJ goes away completely. Well, again, it doesn't like go away, but like the pain will go away. That's what I mean when I say it'll go away, because like technically you still have TMJ, but this is just helping it not act up as much and not feeling the pain. Also, if you're a musician, like if the reason why you have TMJ is because you're a musician, I would start, like if you are currently experiencing the pain, take a few days off from your instrument. I know if you're in college that might be hard, but like your professors will understand. Just take like 3 or 4 days completely off, and then very, very gradually start to build it back in. And only start to build it back in if the pain is either completely gone or has gone away, like mostly gone away, I guess I would say. I don't necessarily remember with me what it was. I remember I took 3 days off, and I think by that point most of the pain was gone. And then that next day I only practiced for like 15 minutes. Then day 2 was like 30 minutes. Day 3 was like 45 minutes. And doing it in different sessions. So like the 45 minute, maybe I'll do 30 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, and then build that 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, 45 minutes in the morning, 40 minutes at night. And you can just build that up to, I mean, A, whatever fits your schedule, but B, just making sure it is spread out. Like if you are gonna have 2 practice sessions that are an hour each, you can't do it at like 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Like that's way too close together. And that was another reason why my TMJ got triggered, because when I was working at Domino's, my shifts start at 5 p.m. And I don't know if I just didn't get around to practicing until later in the afternoon, or if it was because my roommate was still sleeping or what, but like usually my first practice session wasn't until like noon or 1. And then I worked at 5 p.m. So my next practice session was like at 3 or 4, or I guess 3:30 at the latest if I wanted to get a whole hour in. And like 1 p.m. and 3:30 are just way too close together. Like if you have TMJ, you just can't do that. Like you can do that sometimes. I honestly do that sometimes now, but I physically couldn't do a schedule like that every single day. Like my TMJ would come back. I mean, my TMJ, I kind of always feel it. Like it's never that bad, but it's kind of just always there. For me at least, and that's all I do. Like that's kind of the end of the treatment. Like all I do is wear this and make sure, oh, another thing, don't chew gum, because that just kind of makes it worse. So yeah, don't chew gum, so I don't do that. Caffeine makes it worse. I don't drink very much caffeine, but I know one of my friends had to stop drinking caffeine because his TMJ started getting really bad a couple weeks ago, so he had to just completely cut out caffeine. So if you drink a ton of coffee, I would say cut back on the coffee as well. This isn't something I had to really change about myself, because I never drink more than like 1 matcha a day. Matcha doesn't have like that much caffeine. So yeah, I mean, those are really the only steps. Get one of these from CVS, cut out as much caffeine as possible. I know I'm not gonna tell you stop drinking coffee, like, but just cut out as much as you can. Don't chew gum. And then if you are a musician, like I said, go ahead and just follow what I said a few minutes ago. And once you get yourself back in like a routine or schedule, just try as much as possible to like really spread out your practicing. Which, speaking of practicing, there was actually a dentist. He used to play saxophone, I think, and then now he's a dentist. But anyway, he gave this presentation on TMJ at a saxophone conference. It was really interesting, and he actually gave me some handouts. So if you want to shoot me an email, my email is in the description. I can forward you those handouts. I need to find them on my computer, but I definitely have them somewhere. So if you want the handouts that I'm referring to, shoot me an email and I will go ahead and send you his handouts that he gave me. But I actually asked him, because at the end he's like, does anyone have any questions? So I specifically asked, you know, if I do have TMJ, what should a normal like practice session or like a day of practicing look like for me? Like what would be like kind of the best to both optimize time and getting in enough practicing, but also like not overdoing it? And he suggested 45-minute segments. And I don't necessarily do this. Like for me, I'd rather just do an hour. Well, now that school is starting, I need to practice more, but if I'm going to do 2 hours a day, I'd rather do an hour towards the beginning of the day and an hour towards the end of the day. But he was suggesting doing 45 minutes. So it all just depends on how much time you need to practice throughout the day. Maybe 4 45-minute segments would be a good idea if you're trying to get like a ton of practicing in, but you don't want to mess up your TMJ. I mean, again, if you're in college, it's going to be kind of difficult to do that, but if you can at all, try to spread out your practice sessions as much as possible. And if you can even spread it out even more and only do like 30-minute segments, that's even better. Like do a 30-minute segment in the morning, then early afternoon, then late afternoon, then evening. Something like that would be even better than like what I do with the hour and the hour. Sorry, I'm just rambling. I feel like this video has been way too long. I just wanted to get everything that I know about TMJ out there. I've had it for about a year at this point, so I'm not like an expert or anything, but I've been dealing with it for a year, so I could at least like share my experiences with you guys. Please do let me know if you have any questions. Either leave a comment comment below, or if you want to just shoot me an email to my email address, or if you want to hit me up on Instagram, my Instagram will be linked below as well. I do hope this video either helped you self-diagnose yourself with TMJ or is helping you figure out how you're going to treat it. Because again, I've already said this, but I genuinely think it's one of those things that you don't necessarily need to go to a doctor for and spend a bunch of money on. That being said, if you take my advice and this just isn't working, then yes, obviously go ahead and see a dentist. I would say if you give it 4 days-ish with wearing this and without practicing at all, and the pain is still bad, then that's probably a really bad sign. But mine, if you watch my video about my mouth guard, I didn't even wear a mouth guard for the first 2 weeks because the one from the dentist wasn't working out. That's a whole long story, whole other video linked below. But I was able to get rid of pretty much all of my pain, like I would say 95% of it, pretty much all of it, just by changing up my practice routine, not even with this. So, I mean, I do still wear this every night, but I think if I didn't wear this every night, that my TMJ wouldn't be that bad just because of how I've changed my practice routine. I mean, that being said, I haven't tried not wearing this since I got the CVS one, but the combination of figuring out your practice routine and wearing this, you should be able to fix it by yourself 100% on your own without spending money. Well, you have to buy this, but this is like 25 bucks. Thank you for watching this long rant of me talking about TMJ, but I hope that you're watching this because you think you might have TMJ, and I genuinely hope that this video was able to help you in any way, shape, or form. So go to CVS, buy one of these bad boys, and you'll be good to go. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll be back to my regular content of talking about vegetarian stuff next week. Bye.